Hello and welcome everybody to the very first installment of the We Got Next podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Genuinely, thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Listen, we're gonna have a tradition on here. When you come into this environment, this virtual environment, we're gonna take a deep breath. We're gonna breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so let's breathe in. And breathe out. Now I know you all thinking, Sellers, why? Like, I'm about to click off. Why did you have me do this? Why am I breathing in? Why am I breathing out? If you just keep going and going and going, life will just run you straight over. We need to take the times and the moments we have to just stop and take a breath and stop and tell ourselves we're going to be okay. No matter what we're going through, no matter what we're dealing with, no matter what's going on, we are going to be okay. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to be okay because the We Got Next podcast is now here. Listen, let's get straight into it. I'm extremely excited about this. What is this, Sellers? What is the We Got Next podcast? Why am I watching it? Why should I watch it every week? What is this, okay? So when I was writing out my blueprint for it, I said, okay, what do I want to convey? What do I want to get across every week? What do I want this podcast to be? So the We Got Next wow, I just said a whole bunch of stuff. The We Got Next podcast is for young people, okay? Now, I say young people, and it is geared toward young people. When I made this podcast, when I started this movement, it was young people in mind. But no matter how old you are or what stage of your life you're in, you could get something out of here. If you listen, if you just have an open mind to listen and to understand, no matter who you are, you can get something out of this. But it is geared toward young people. I want it to be a turning point podcast. Now, what is a turning point podcast? Did you make that up? Yes, I did make that up. But this podcast is for anybody that feels like they're about to make a major jump or a major leap, or they just made a major decision and now they're walking into it. Whether it be you just started college, whether it be you just started a new relationship, whether it be you just started a new job, you went from being a minor to now you're legal, you're of age. You went from living by yourself, living with your parents and living with your family. Now you're living on your own. Whatever it may be, whatever that turning point is, whatever that transition is, this podcast is for you. Because we are all, the young people that I'm trying to reach, we're all coming from a place where it was comfortable. You know, we went to school for 12 years, or we're still in school, or we just started college, no matter what. But then a pandemic happened, hit, and now it's just like we're supposed to get right back up and move forward. How do we get back up? How do we recover? How do we pivot from what we lost in 2020, and 2020 is not over yet, but it is the ladder of 2020. So how do we keep moving? How do we get up and go from everything that has happened in 2020? And that is what this podcast is about. It's about the next level. It's about people that want to be better, people that want to understand some things that they may not have understand, whether it be about yourself, whether it be about God, or whether it be about your religion, or whether it be about are you religious? Do you believe in any of that? This is the podcast for you. This is the podcast that is going to help you grow. You know, the purpose of the podcast is I want to help you grow as I grow. Now, what does that mean? Each day, I want to be better and better and better. I don't ever want to be a day where I'm just stagnant, or it's a day that I decline. So I did less than what I did the day before, or I feel less than what I felt the day before. Each day I want to become better and better and better and better. And I know a lot of you all out there are the same way. You want to do it better and better and better and better. And to learn how to walk out our purpose. What is purpose? Purpose is what you feel like you were placed on this earth to do. What you feel like you can do better than anybody else if you do it to the top level. If you did this thing to the top level, you feel like you are the absolute best. It's your space of excellence. You do it better than anyone else if you gave it everything you have. How do we walk out in that? How do we come from a place of comfortability to walking out our purpose? So all of that will be covered on this podcast. Who am I? Sellers. Some of you may know me as Marcellus. Some of you may know me as Sellers. But I am your main host. I am your main host. Now, what is a main host? I will have a lot of co-hosts on. So I will have a lot of people that do the show with me. Cameron does the show with me. He'll be on certain episodes. Shout out to Cam. I'll interview a lot of people, but you will see me every single week, every Friday. I'll talk about our format right after this. But you will see me. I produce the show, so basically I just film it. I film it. The shout out to our artwork behind us. I really did like the artwork behind us, the portraits we have. So I am your main host. You will see me every single week. And you know, I'm co-founded this WGN. WGN is We Got Next. My brother Chris Johnson in Christ, my brother in Christ Chris Johnson, God rest his soul, he made this a conference. So this was originally the We Got Next conference, but I wanted to continue the legacy. I wanted to continue his honor. I wanted to continue everything that he did. And now it's here as a podcast. Now, We Got Next is not the only movement. I also have a movement called the Love Movement. Now, what is the Love Movement? What does that mean? I want people to love one another, okay? We've did this thing for years where we've been in certain cliques and claims and groups and organizations and identities and sororities and all of this stuff. And all that, not saying any of that is bad, but let's just go back to the basics. Let's go back to I love you. I love you. Whoever you are watching this, whatever state you are in your life, however you're feeling, whether you feel depressed, whether you feel happy, whether you feel sad, none of that matters to me. I love you. No matter what you did, no matter what you've done, I love you. And God loves you as well. And that's where we need to go back to. The simple place of I love you and God loves you. See, we get so caught up in things that really, in the grand scheme of things, do you love your neighbor? Do you love the people that you see every day? Do you love one another? And I can't stand these niggas. No, we're off that. I love you. It's that simple. I love you, okay? So, the format of the show. So, growing up, I used to watch classic television shows, right? So, a lot of Disney, a lot of Nickelodeon. And their episodes were 30 minutes, and it was once a week. So, they would drop a new episode every week, and it would be 30 minutes. That is what the We Got Next podcast is. Now, this episode might be a little different because this is just like an introduction and telling you all who I am and what we are and previewing next week's topic. But this will be what the We Got Next podcast is. You know, I see podcasts that run for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And there will be episodes where we run a little longer. We might interview somebody. But the standard will be 30 minutes. Just give me 30 minutes once a week. That's all I ask. 30 minutes once a week. And please, 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 if you don't do anything else, please subscribe to this YouTube that you're watching right now. I'm going to post this video on YouTube, and I want to build my YouTube channel up. That is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build this YouTube channel up. So if you could pretty please help me, I would appreciate it so much if you would hit that subscription button, like it, comment, engage. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me, are you excited going forth? I know I am, okay? So that is the format. So this first episode, why did I choose to do this on September 11th? Wow, how's that? What is that? How did I go? Arguably one of the most tragic days in American history. Why did I pick to do it on this day? This day will always be set aside for the lives that were lost. Okay, I'm not trying to. That will always be that. This day will always be set aside for the lives that were lost. But I want to change the narrative. Because what the devil wanted to do was he wanted to keep us down, he wanted to keep us depressed, and he wanted to keep us low for years and years and years and years to come. I refuse to let the devil think he won, okay? This podcast is for the world. Okay, I want that to sit. I'm not trying to do this podcast so I can reach a couple people in Detroit. I'm not saying I don't want to. I want to reach everybody. I want to reach Detroit. I want to reach New York. I want to reach Dubai. I want to reach Canada. I want to reach the world. Because there's no point of doing this if you don't reach the world. You know, we have so many gifts. We have so many callings, so many talents. It's time to reach the world. And I'm going to talk about that a little later on in this series, in this episode, actually. It's your time. Listen, We Got Next, the We Got Next podcast, We Got Next stems from basketball, okay? When you're playing basketball, whether it be pickup, well, just pickup, you come in, but you don't just come into the court on the court and say, "Oh, give me the ball, I'm about to start playing." No, you come on the court, and first you see, is there anyone around you who has next? Okay, you look to your left, you look to your right, people behind you, people in front. Is there anyone that was here before I was? Was there anyone here who time was before me, who has waited longer than I have, and this is their time now? Is that happening around you? And if it is, you wait. You wait to get in line. I mean, you wait to get on that court. And then it comes a point where you say, listen, I was after him. He went, she went. Now it's my time, okay? And you have to speak up and say, listen, no, I'm next. And that is where we are at. That is the point we are at. We are next. We got next. We have waited. We have said, oh, well, I'm a little too young, or, oh, I really don't know how to do this, and I just got to do this, and, my business, I really don't know if I want to do this. No, death to that. My pastor would say, death to the day. This is our moment. This is our time, and it's time to take it by force. It is time to take it by force. We got next. Whatever it is you do it to the absolute best of your ability, because this is your moment. Also, September, usually the woman gives birth in the 9th month. So I want to start this in the 9th month, in the month of birthing. It's time to birth. And once you birth, you become new. You don't just give birth to something and then you are the same person before that baby is born. No, once the woman gives birth, she is a completely different person. And we are trying to become the best versions of ourselves. And we can't do that in mediocrity. We can't do that flying underneath the radar. We can't do that barely applying pressure. No, it is time to be you and be the best version of yourself you can absolutely be. And it's going to take hard work. There's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. It's going to take hard work, but this is your moment. Stop waiting around. Stop saying, I got to get this in place. Stop saying, I got to do this. No, go before you're ready. Always have a foundation. Always get it clear with God. But once you know that this is what you're supposed to do, go for it. This is the time to go forward. This is the time to launch. This is the time to be all that God has called you to be, okay? And also, another disclaimer. If you don't want to hear anything about God, if you don't have a belief in God, and you say, I never will believe God, I don't even want to hear anything you got to say about God, this podcast is not for you, okay? This podcast is for the person that will open up and hear what we are saying. Whether, because this podcast is for a person trying to get better and better and better each day. Okay? Trying to understand, how do I live a fun life, but also walk in purpose? Who is this God? What is God? How does he function? What is this religion? What is this Christianity? What is all of this? This is what this podcast is for. People who are trying to understand, people who are trying to learn, people who are trying to get better day in and day out. If you have those concerns, if you want to know, okay, what is God? Who is God? How does the church work? I've seen things and I heard things that contradict that. Well, people did me wrong, but this, that, and the third. All of that will be covered in this podcast. But you have to open up and you have to want to receive what is being said. You have to get in a place where I want to become a better person. I want to be better than what I am now. I know that I'm not functioning at my top level. I'm not doing my absolute best, okay? And then if you realize that, this podcast is for you. Someone who says, okay, Sellers, listen, I might not know my calling, or I do know my calling, but I need to move forward. And we're moving forward together. I'm moving forward right along with you. You're encouraging me as much as I'm encouraging you. I'm trying to get young people up. Okay? I'm trying to get young people moving. I'm trying to spark that fire that lays in you. Don't just let your dream die. Dreams don't die. Dreams don't die. We stop chasing them. Shout out to Kev on stage. Dreams do not die. We just stop chasing our dreams. Never stop chasing your dreams. If you got a dream, and I'm going totally off topic real quick, but if you got a dream and you got something you want to do, go and do it. And put both of your hands on it and push and push and push and push. And keep on pushing until you see it manifest. This time, it's no more time to be lazy. No more time to procrastinate. No more time to say I could have did it. I should have. I would have did it. But I went through so much. I've lost so much. This pandemic. I didn't get to graduate. Didn't go to prom. Didn't get to walk across the stage. All of that. I understand that. Or 11th graders. People are in school now. Well, this is robbery. We didn't get the full experience. I understand all of that. But it's time to move. It's time to move now. You have to look whatever it is you're dealing in the face and say, you will not overtake me. I will not be overtaken by this. I am going to push and push and push until I become who I know I am supposed to be. Okay? So I got off a little bit there, but this is time. It's time to go. It's time to go, okay? Like I said, this podcast will probably be a little shorter, but I want to preview what we will talk about next week. Now, next week is you could say, this is our pilot episode. So we're setting up everything, all of our characteristics, how we how we do this show, how it works, all of that, right? And next week, we're going to deep dive into this topic, who are you? Okay? Who are you? Not who people want you to be, not who people tell you to be, not who you have felt like you were your whole life. No, who are you? That's going to be our topic next week. It's simply, who are you? When you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in that mirror, who am I? What do I do? Do I wake up and do I have a positive impact on the world? Do I have a positive impact on my environment? Do I have a positive impact on the people I see every day? Who are you? Okay? That's simple. Who are you? And if you can't answer that question, it's time to do some soul searching. Spend this week. I'll see you next Friday. This will premiere every Friday. And take some time and say, okay, I need to figure out who I am. And maybe you knew who you were at a point in time and you just don't know who you are anymore. You just really don't know who you are anymore. Some things you went through, some things you experienced. Maybe you've been in a slump. I know I was mentally, after my father passed, I was mentally checked out for months. But then my mother, thank God for my mother and God, they woke me up. It's time to wake up. Who are you? What is your identity? And if you do not know, I suggest prayer. I suggest that you take it up to the Lord in prayer and say, Lord, reveal to me who I am. What is my purpose? What is my calling? What is my destiny? What is your path for my life? We will talk about God more and more in depth on these episodes. I'll have a whole episode. That episode will probably go a little bit longer, where we just talk about who is God, where we just break down God. Just like God in creation, God as in flesh. We're going to break it down so we can get a better understanding. See, we just can't throw stuff out there. And, we just can't throw out ridiculous opinions and things we think. No, we have to have facts. And I want this show to be a factual show. So I'm going to bring in facts from the Bible because that is the resource we use. That's the resource we use. I'm going to bring in facts from the Bible. I'm not going to hit you in the face with the Bible and say, y'all all going to hell. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to try to share with you to the best of my ability who God is, how he really functions. Not how people have said he functions. A lot of people do get it right, but a lot of people just say opinions. It's just opinion based. No, I'm going to bring in the word and we're going to break down who God is. We're going to break down how he works. We're going to break down how much he really loves you, because God loves you so much that he died for you. Okay? It's a songwriter that said, don't tell me that you love me if you ain't going to die for me. Well, God died for you. He gave his life. He gave his life. He gave his life. He gave his only begotten son. We'll get into that more as we progress. But listen, thank you so much for joining me on this week's episode. Your quote-unquote homework is just, who are you? Who are you really? What's your identity? What do you do? So, when your obituary, and this should be, and I'm not wishing death on anybody. I'm really not wishing death on anybody. But when we read that obituary, when people read that obituary, and we're young now, so we're not thinking about death. Let me over. We're not thinking about death. But we need to start thinking about, what would that say? Who will people say that I am? You know, when it's all said and done, did I do my absolute best to impact change? Because it starts now. It don't start when we're 35, 45, 55. And if you are those ages, it's never too late. But if we're young now, let's start now. Let's get ahead of the curve. Let's start now. Let's say, okay, I am young. I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm 20, I'm 17, I'm 15. I'm young, but let me start living my life to the best of my ability, reaching excellence on my level. But all of that first starts with you have to understand who you are. So spend this week, whether it be 2 minutes, whether it be an hour, whether it be a week, spend this week just saying, listen, I'm going to sit still and I'm going to just try to understand and figure out who I really am. If you need direction, ask God. Who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Am I just wandering around? Okay? Who am I? Sit down and just really do some self-evaluation. Who am I? Listen, I love you so much. Thank you so much for tuning into the first installment. This was just, like I said, a welcome episode and a thank you episode. Thank you so much. Please hit that subscription button. Please give me a like. Please comment. Please engage in my comments. I will see you all. I'll probably see you all before next Friday with another series I got coming. But I will definitely see you all next Friday. Remember, keep going. You are chosen by God. And also remember, we got next. God bless.